Welcome back. It has been a few weeks since I've done a Raw review because frankly it hasn't been worth looking at, and I've been busy making Halloween videos. We got one more big one to go, but I figured what the hell. I watched Raw last night, not because I thought it was going to be a great show, because spoiler alert, it wasn't, but it was in my home state, my neck of the woods, Grand Rapids, Michigan, ladies and gents, down at the Van Andel Arena. So, without further ado, let's take a look.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Have you or loved one been wronged by shitty wrestling? Call Yikes and Oof, attorneys at law. 1-800-976-6299. That's Yikes and Oof, attorneys at law.
Gunther kicks off the show with a promo to address his new number one contender, which is none other than Damian Priest. And before he could get the words out of his mouth barely, the former champ hit the ring, and he's daring Gunther to say things to his face. And Priest told Gunther that he is no longer the insurmountable monster who once ran the table in WWE. That's no longer the fact. No. He's a shell of his former self. And then Ludwig Kaiser comes down and interrupts looking like a beatnik. The only thing he was missing was the fruity-ass little beret. But I can't make fun of him too much because the guy's dating Tiffany Stratton. And I mean, Jesus God in heaven, what a lucky man he is. So lucky. So fair is she. That was his name. Giovanni Vinci would hit on her backstage, thus causing him to get jobbed out and completely humiliated because he was stupid enough to hit on his boy's girlfriend. What are you doing, dude? Anyway, Kaiser interrupts the proceedings. He gets kind of leveled, and Gunther didn't say anything to the contrary of Priest's claims, but this, is playing off some of the other promos that these two have cut back and forth that I've watched. I haven't been watching the show in full, but I've kind of watched their promos. And it's a decent lead up to their Survivor Series match. But this promo in particular is going to set up Priest versus Kaiser later in the night.
It's good.
Time for Damage Control. Good thing I brushed up on my Mandarin. Come along, backstage interviewer lady.
I don't want to come.
Damage Control versus Pure...
The Lesbian!
Enough joking around. Dakota Kai's first match back after 3 months away, and did anybody even know she was gone? Was there really any question who was going over in this clusterfuck of stand and wait? I want to show one clip, and if I show one clip, it's only going to be to perfectly visualize how stupid these matches are. And this goes for the men and the women. Let's watch stand and wait cinema. Total real time of this garbage tier sequence is 10 seconds, but I'm going to speed it up 4 times, and you can just see stand and wait. Oh, wait, I got to do this.
But wait! There's more!
Here we go. As the tunes start to flow, said Domino. But no dominoes here. Only the genius of the skies taking 10 seconds to hit an over-the-moon saw. Come along, backstage interviewer lady. We've got to do Trans Man Pete Dunne versus Kofi Kingston. Oh, God.
I don't want to come.
Do you think I was actually going to cover that match? No. Jesus God in heaven, no.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Look, Bronson Reed needs a manager because this man loses all, and I mean all, of his intimidation factor when he opens his mouth. And I don't mean to diss his accent, but it's kind of hard to buy him as being tough with that accent. I know he's a huge guy and everything as far as size goes. He's not a tall guy, but I mean, this man should easily be able to dispatch with Seth Rollins. And yet this twink is able to get the upper hand on him. I know they're going to put Rollins over in this, so it just seems is it's like, hey, Bronson, you want to push? All right, bud, get ready to go back down to the lower card as soon as you put this twink over. I know this is about doing the job and everything, but I mean, what are you building this young guy up for if it's not going to go anywhere? I'm not saying it's not going to go anywhere long term, but in the here and now, this business is a what have you done for me lately? And this isn't doing this cat any favors at all. I don't know what you want me to say. This segment was not good. If you're a Seth Rollins fan, it might have been me. I just look at it from an overall perspective of this was garbage. Damian Priest versus the man I am legally not allowed to make fun of because he's dating Tiffany Stratton, Ludwig Kaiser, who stepped up for his Imperium stablemate Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion, and Gunther let him get his ass whipped, and this was a good match. I'm not going to lie. I can't poo-poo the fact that this was actually a decent match out of these two. Good TV quality match. You get what you get from Priest. He's entertaining in the ring. The guy's very charismatic. He's grown on me as a performer. I like Damian Priest. Ludwig Kaiser is a great swarmy heel. Really plays that foreign heel role well. So this segment for me, this gets a point to the good, folks. Etep is being kind because I cannot tell a lie when it comes to Priest going over with the South of Heaven chokeslam as predicted.
It's good.
I hated this segment so much. I had my AI girl Hope tell you it was trash. Back to you in the studio, Pete.
How dare you?
This match was as predictable as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Did anybody think that they were going to put the tag team titles on Liv and Raquel, with Liv being the women's champion and winning that worthless hunk of metal over in Saudi at the Blood Money pay-per-view? No. Jade and Bianca are not losing these belts until they split these two up. Yeah. And you've got Tiffany running in and getting taken out by Naomi, who was an absolute joke. I mean, why? And then Nia Jax, the Rogue Leviathan, waddles down to the ring, and you just got a huge clusterfuck. And like I said, the ending of this match was as predictable as a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You knew what you're getting. You knew it was going to happen. And it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I can't give this one a point to the good. And I love Jade and Bianca. I really like all four of these. 5 out of the 6 women, and I think even Io Sky and the other one might have got involved. I don't know. It was such a cluster. That's why it gets a bad point. It's too much of a cluster. And then, yeah, I'll rant about this at the end of the video. But this one gets a point to the bad. All right, before we total the score, let's run through the rest. Sami Zayn trying to get Seth Rollins to join their bloodline team for Survivor Series War Games. That's a point to the bad. Fuck Sami Zayn. We had Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu sitting there and trying to convince Seth Rollins to join their team for War Games at Survivor Series, and that gets another point to the bad. So let's total this thing up because I just feel like
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
not a great show. 7 to the bad, 2 to the good. What do you want me to say? You want me to sit here and be a sycophant for WWE? No, I get accused of that enough every time I criticize AEW. And believe me, I've got an AEW video I'm working on. But no, this show was not great. It had some decent spots, but the decent spots were overshadowed by more of the same just garbage and predictability with no sizzle. There's no sizzle, there's no steak. You're getting spam here for the most part, folks. But there are those little nuggets of goodness. Yeah, oof. That is a big yikes again. Speaking of yikes and oof, before we go home, let's take one more opportunity to hear from our sponsors. Yikes and oof, attorneys at law.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Have you or loved one been wronged by shitty wrestling? Call Yikes and Oof, attorneys at law. 1-800-976-6299. That's Yikes and Oof, attorneys at law.
But those are just my opinions, folks. Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. What do you think? Are you going to need to call Yikes and Oof, attorneys at law after watching Raw last night? Let me know. Ding the bell, subscribe, folks. Horror and wrestling content plus schlock movies, shorts. I got the gamut covers. Memes on the community tab, channel memberships, Patreon. That's patreon.com/wrestling with horror 420. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Etep from Wrestling with Horror. Until later on, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I will catch you on the next one, and remember, it's always better to burn out than fade away. Savage.